In 2012, I grabbed a dusty, bargain bin copy of Skyrim, thinking it was just another RPG. I had no idea that single moment would change my life forever. One cart ride, one dragon attack, and one desperate escape later, I wasn't just a gamer anymore. I was a Dragonborn. Skyrim wasn't just a game, it was a world, and for months I lived in it. Every quest, every NPC, every battle, it all felt real. But then I discovered mods, and that's when Skyrim stopped being just a fantasy and became something more, a gateway into game development itself. Today I want to share why Skyrim is more than just a game. It's an experience, an education, and a journey every gamer should take at least once in their lifetime. Back in 2012, I was a part-time English teacher, playing casual console games in my free time. Nothing too deep, just quick games of whatever Call of Duty game there was at the time, just to unwind. Then, one of my older students wouldn't stop talking about this game, called The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. He kept saying, "You have to try it. It's like nothing else." So, one day, I gave in. I picked up a used copy, went home, and loaded it up, expecting just another RPG. I still remember that first ride into Helgen. The sway of the cart, the crisp morning air, the silence of the prisoners around me. And then, "Hey you're finally awake." From that moment, I was hooked. The weight of the world pressed down, the tension rising as the execution loomed closer. And then came the dragon, the chaos, the fire, the desperate escape. In that moment, reality actually faded. I wasn't Ilias the teacher anymore. I was the Dragonborn. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. I wasn't just playing Skyrim, I was living in it. I became Thane of every city, joined every faction, forged my legend across Tamriel. But what stuck with me the most weren't just the grand quests or the epic battles. It was the little things, the idle chatter of NPCs, the way the wind whispered through the trees, the way the world felt alive. Every time I stepped into a town, I wasn't just passing through, I was part of something bigger. And that was when I realized this wasn't just a game. It was something more, something I had never experienced before. By month 6 into Skyrim on console, I thought I had seen everything Skyrim had to offer. I had conquered dragons, uncovered ancient secrets, and shaped the world with my choices. But then, I bought Skyrim on PC, and that's when I discovered mods. It started small, better textures, sharper lighting, a few tweaks here and there to make the world feel more immersive, but then I found entire overhauls, new weather systems, realistic combat, massive quest expansions, and suddenly Skyrim wasn't just a game anymore. It was a living, evolving world constantly shaped and improved by its own community. Bethesda did something revolutionary. They gave us the tools to rewrite the game itself. With the creation kit, anyone could change Skyrim. Do you want Lydia to have blonde hair? Done. Do you want to craft your own spells? You can. Do you want to replace all dragons with Thomas the Tank Engine? You got it. And then there were the adult mods. Let's just say the Skyrim community has explored every possible fantasy. Wholesome, romantic, and downright degenerate. There's a mod for everyone and everything. But, beyond the jokes, this freedom gave Skyrim something most games never achieve: infinite possibilities. Every single person playing modded Skyrim is experiencing a different version of the game. Some make it a survival simulator, with brutal winters and hunger mechanics. Some turn it into a high fantasy warzone filled with new creatures and factions. Some just want prettier NPCs, and yet, no matter what version you play, it still feels like Skyrim. It still feels real. So Skyrim isn't just a game that stood the test of time. It's a game that grew with time. And no matter how many years have passed, it's always becoming something greater. At first, modding was just about making Skyrim look better. But the deeper I went, the more I realized. It wasn't just about playing it, I was learning how it worked. I started noticing things I had never paid attention to before. How every object in the game had collision data. How 3D models need textures and normal maps to look realistic. How AI packages determine NPC behavior. I wasn't just installing mods, I was dissecting a living, breathing game world, one file at a time. Then came the creation kit. At first, it was overwhelming. Endless menus, strange variables, a seemingly infinite amount of data. But the more I tinkered, the more I understood. I created my own spells, adjusted the stats of weapons, even built my own custom follower complete with a high poly model and unique spells. It was like pulling back the curtain of game development itself. I started seeing patterns, the systems, the logic that made Skyrim feel so alive. And suddenly, making my own game didn't seem impossible. So I went deeper. I learned how scripts controlled interactions, how lighting affected mood, how AI behavior could turn a lifeless NPC into a believable character. And before I knew it, I wasn't just modding, I was teaching myself the fundamentals of game design. Skyrim led me to Unity, then to Unreal. And now I make my own games. All because I installed a few mods, got curious, and kept going. And that's the magic of Skyrim. It's not just a game you play, it's a game that teaches you about world building, about storytelling, about game development itself. And for those willing to take that step, it can be a gateway to something much, much bigger. Even if you never touch a single mod, Skyrim is an experience unlike any other. You can sink thousands of hours into its world, and somehow it always finds new ways to surprise you. A random encounter, an unmarked cave, a simple NPC interaction. No two playthroughs are ever the same. And that's just vanilla Skyrim. But the moment you step into the world of mods, Skyrim transforms into something even greater. Right now, with just a few clicks, you can download entire mod lists, carefully curated collections of thousands of mods that will overhaul the game for you, even if you've never modded the game before. There are complete visual reworks that make Skyrim look like a modern AAA title, gameplay overhauls that add survival mechanics, spellcasting systems, and brand new quest lines. There's Skyrim VR, where you can physically draw your sword and explore the world in ways never before possible. And now, with AI-driven NPCs, you can give every single character in Skyrim an infinite dialogue pool, turning it into a game years ahead of anything available right now. And what makes Skyrim essential? It's not just a game, it's a blueprint for what games should be. It also proves that a passionate community can elevate a game beyond its limits, that innovation doesn't have to end on launch day. In an era where so many games feel uninspired, where innovation often takes a backseat to monetization, Skyrim stands as a reminder of what gaming can be. If you're like me, if you love games that let you carve your own path, that immerse you in living, breathing worlds, then Skyrim is an experience you need to have. Play it, mod it, lose yourself in it, because whether you're a warrior, a thief, a mage, or even a game developer in the making, Skyrim will always have a story waiting for you. If you enjoyed this tale, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Think of it as offering a tankard of mead to a weary traveler. And tell me in the comments below, what's your greatest Skyrim memory? Until next time, may the roads lead you to warm sands.